Do you have any idea what it's like to wake up scared that your rights will be taken away? That's what people in the LGBTQ plus community experience every day. This should be relevant to you because you know someone who is a part of this community. Legislatures such as the Don't Say Gay bills are dangerous to the LGBTQ plus community. We will demonstrate this by talking about the different legislature there is against the LGBTQ plus community, how it can harm them, and why they should not be a part of legislature in the first place. First, the different types of legislature against the LGBTQ plus community. They have things such as the Don't Say Gay bill, which is a bill that is to prevent public schools from discussing gender identity and sexuality among students and teachers. It's also known as the parental rights in education. It gives the parents their right for them to discuss their gender identity and sexuality in school and make sure that they don't say gay, technically. I found out this information from NPR.org that was written by Jacqueline Diaz on March 28, 2022. And then I found out the parental rights in education is what it was originally called and how it was passed in Florida. From Healthline.com, Brian Mastroianni, March 16, 2022. Then they have the anti-trans sports bill, and that is trans men and women are not allowed to be in sports because of their advantage or because they are on steroids or medicine, but even though they're not really, it's hormones. But an article from hrc.org by Ryan Ronan, April 22nd, 2022, states that there are more bills passed for the anti-trans sports now than there were just a few years ago. Then we're going to talk about how it can harm the LGBTQ plus community. It can lead to poverty, significantly higher rates of poverty for LGBTQ plus people. That I learned that from LGBTmap.org, but there's an unknown author and date. They can also hurt them from suicide. There are higher rates of suicide amongst trans youth. And then assault. 375 trans people killed globally in 2021. 46% of LGBTQ plus workers experience unfair treatment and because of their sexuality. And that was from splcenter.org from an unknown date author, and the title was Anti-LGBTQ. And then why they should not be a part of a legislature in the first place. They're very harmful to youth, and LGBTQ plus youth, trans youth, and anything in regards to that community. They don't feel like they are wanted, deserve, that they should not be alive. So there are higher rates of suicide amongst those people in the community. And then finally, let us review the legislatures such as the Don't Say Gay bill are dangerous to the LGBTQ plus community. We demonstrate this by talking about how the different legislature that is against LGBTQ plus members, how it can be harmful and why they should not be a part of legislature in the first place. I hope everyone has left here with a different mindset in the LGBTQ plus community and the legislature against them. And then this is anti-LGBT bills that were passed and introduced. So they have Alabama, religious exemptions in child welfare. Kentucky, religious exemptions in public schools and public post-secondary institutions. South Dakota, religious exemptions in child welfare. Tennessee, religious/conscious exemptions in public schools and public post-secondary institutions. Requires that undefined words be given their natural and ordinary meaning. North Carolina, repeal of HB 2 preemption law limiting local authority. Those are all bills that were passed or introduced in the U.S. That were against anti-LGBTQ plus bills, and there are many more from that year. I think it was 2019. From that year, there are many more that have come about. Especially 2022 is the worst year for LGBTQ plus youth and community members. But I hope everybody leaves here with a little bit more information and knows and understands more about how anti-LGBTQ plus laws and bills are dangerous
to that community.